If you are constantly seeing repeating 1s, 2s, 3s, or 144, then you are currently going through a major shift. You are in the process of releasing an old paradigm to reclaim your divine essence. These numbers represent stages of releasing and realigning. Repeating 1s, 2s, and 3s are important because where we are with these numbers determines where we are with the number 4, which represents stability. Our level of stability emotionally, mentally, and physically is determined by the numbers that precede 4. Numbers 5 through 10 are more cyclical. We are constantly cycling through them as we have different experiences in life and manifest from the level of mental and emotional stability that we have. We continue in the same cycles if we never recognize why we aren't manifesting what we want and look at what beliefs and perspectives have formed the foundation for what we create in life. When we decide we want to make a change, we have to start working backwards from 4 by unlearning beliefs and shifting perspectives that are based on limitation and fear. As we do this, we are working backwards towards our natural, divine, empowered state and back to oneness and unity. 111, 222, 333, and 144 are energy signatures for what stage we are currently working through. Once we have fully moved through one number, we move on to seeing another number. Sometimes we can switch back and forth between two numbers while a new energy is trying to fully anchor in. We can also stay in one number for a very long time. So first, we have to start with 3 and work backwards. The number 3 is about the alignment of Source, the higher self, and the lower self. We're working towards getting everyone to work together and speak the same language. Source and our higher selves don't speak the language of fear, limitation, and disempowerment. So this is when we begin to shed the fear identity that we've adopted from our negative experiences. A pyramid is considered to be the most stable 3D shape, the sides of which are of course made from triangles with 3 sides and 3 angles. In order to create a pyramid, the base angles of a triangle have to be the same like in Figure 1. We create a stable triangle when our masculine and feminine are being given equal energy and are being utilized equally. Figure 2 represents the masculine and feminine not being used equally and not being in balance. When they aren't used equally, we will have a lopsided triangle that will be unable to form a pyramid and create stability. I want to switch to number 2 because the significance of this number is embedded in both 1 and 3. 1 and 2 are the only consecutive numbers that add up to the following number. We may not actually see consistently repeating 2s the same way we see 1s, 3s, and 144 because the energy of 2 is included in 1 and 3. This may pop up as a synchronicity to remind us to consider our internal balance. 2 is represented by a line with 2 dots, and it's about learning where there is tension between our inner masculine and feminine, which is felt as a resistance to one or the other. This is the rubber band effect. The masculine and feminine are our divine nature separated into 2 parts. Our negative experiences can teach us to reject one part of ourselves and to view it as a threat to our stability and security, so we attempt to pull them apart. The more we pull, the more that rubber band wants to snap back to equilibrium. This tension and desire for equilibrium can be felt through difficult experiences or emotions or internal resistance. When these 2 parts of us are being utilized equally, we feel a sense of empowerment from which we are able to create true peace, joy, stability, security, and abundance. We need the feminine openness, whether that's openness to new possibilities, to guidance, to the unseen, or to understanding emotions, to be followed by masculine restriction through discipline, discernment, and boundaries, to change course and take action that is more aligned with our higher selves and what is in our highest good. The part of us that we try to push away is our strength, and any internal resistance we feel to emotions or an openness to new ideas or to structure, discipline, and emotional control is like a bright red flashing arrow telling us to move in that direction. When we give them equal energy and importance in all areas of life, we align our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions with our true divine nature. When combined, we embody our full power and we no longer speak the language of limitation and fear that kept us disconnected from our higher selves, and we can then ground a new paradigm into the 3D. Next is repeating 1s, which represents working towards achieving a great enough level of inner unity that we can move forward with a new sense of stability from which abundance naturally flows. We now understand how balance is achieved. It's about reaching that tipping point where our patterns, our fears, our insecurities no longer hold us back and keep us in the same difficult cycles. They may still be there, but we can see them for what they are. We know if we take action on them, we'll create discord and disharmony in our lives. This is how we're able to move out of the same cycles that we've always been in. The number 1 can be represented by a point or a circle because it has no sides or angles. And what's interesting is that as shapes increase in their number of sides and angles, they move closer and closer to a circle. This represents continuous evolvement and movement back to source. Repetitive ones are also represented by the number 11, which is the point between 10 and 12. 10 is when the energy of a cycle is at its peak, and 12 is the stepping into a new cycle of abundance, because 12 times 12 equals 144, which is the 1 before the 4, or unity before stability. So this brings us to 144. 144 is a number that represents a new paradigm within us as individuals and collectively on the earth. Some of us are here to reach this point now to help the earth move forward. It's a new kind of stability that comes from inner unity. The number 12 represents cycles of time. It's the basis for how we measure time, the months of the year, and the zodiac. And again, 1, 2, and 3 are all encoded in 12. We often think of the number 10 as representing the ending of a cycle, but the new cycle doesn't begin until we have built the proper foundation for it. 10 is like a culmination of energy that has brought us to the edge of a precipice where we have to make a decision to make changes or not. Do we take a leap into the unknown, into a new way of being, or do we stay in the known and what feels comfortable and safe? When I see 1010, it always gives me the sense of being held and supported. It's like a reminder to trust and have faith and know how unbelievably supported we are as we move through the unknown and through the dark. When we see 144, we are working on solidifying a new foundation that places us into a new cycle where abundance can flow. What's interesting is that a 10-sided polygon has 144 encoded within it. The internal angles of a decagon are each 144 degrees, which adds to a total of 1,440 degrees. A pentagram is also a 10-sided figure, and when you extend a line from one of its points, you get 144-degree angle. The pentagram represents the 4 elements in spirit, so again, the 1 and the 4. We also know the Bible mentions the number 144. Revelation talks about the sealing of the 144,000 before a destructive event. The heavenly city, or the New Jerusalem at the end of Revelation, also has 12 gates and 12 foundations, and its walls are 144 cubits thick. This is the new paradigm in the process of being created here on this earth right now. Revelation 21:4 says, "There shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away." The pain and suffering that we have experienced on this earth will be done away with because we have adopted new mindsets, new perspectives, and new beliefs about ourselves that are rooted in our divinity and power instead of fear, limitation, and disempowerment.